to Agile Coaching Roundtable. Today is the 8th session and the second session in the ongoing Scrum Master series. And the topic for today is how to approach a new project organization or maybe a team as a Scrum Master. And I hope many of you have started working as a Scrum Master, and if not, then at least are aspiring to start work as a Scrum Master. So this session would be useful for everyone who is planning to work as a Scrum Master, and also the seasoned Scrum Master who are planning to, or I mean, who has got opportunity to join a new project or an organization, and also to people who are still struggling to crack that code, as in how do we uh, approach whenever we join a new team or project as a Scrum Master. So on that note, let's get started. I'm just sharing my screen. Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, Ramya.
Okay, thank you so much for confirmation. Let me just first of turn off my video so that I don't face quality network issues. All right. Okay, so first, whenever we start a project or account or a team as a Scrum Master, we all as a Scrum Masters are very energetic and we want to kind of just prove our meat and just try to pour in all our experiences that we have in our past, and try to just change things and all of that. But I would kind of contradict to this, or maybe disagree to this, when we want to kind of start a new project or an account. First and foremost thing that I would request, or maybe I would like to approach, is just relax and like do not think of changing anything. So why I am saying this is, I would like to just tell you with small example. When we were kids, and whenever we used to play, right, during our play time, when we used to obviously play in a group, right? And imagine someone new person who plans to, or who wants to join your group. How would you react? I'm sure not everyone in the group would welcome him with open arms, right? There would be people who would welcome that new person, and there would be people who would question or doubt the person, as in, why is the person trying to join our group? So basically, not all of us would kind of encourage or accept the person wholeheartedly, right? So we all have our own inhibitions, and we just don't want to welcome anyone because we have formed our close knit group, and we don't want anyone else to come and join us, right? So similarly, and to just add one more complexity, or maybe one more challenge to it, imagine, even though if you are welcomed and you didn't have any options, imagine collaboratively majority of people have decided, okay, let us accept this new guy, and let us play with that guy, okay, along with him. Now this guy comes and starts telling you each time, this is not how you should play the game. This is not the right way to play, or maybe he tries to dictate you, no, go this way, go that way, don't do this, don't do that. In that case, how would you feel? Imagine you as a kid, you are trying to play with your group and you are comfortable with your group, and this suddenly this person comes and he tries to kind of tell you, okay, don't do this, don't do that, don't play this way or don't play that way, and all of that. Definitely you will get irritated at some point, right? So you would not welcome him. You would think, first of all, we are doing a favor by accepting him. Now on top of that, this guy is coming and teaching us what is right and what is not. So that would be our mentality. That was our mentality when we were kids. Now, similarly, same situation. Now we have grown up and now we are working in a project together. And you know that there is this guy who has joined us as a Scrum Master, or there is this lady who has joined us as a Scrum Master, and he or she is just trying to dictate you. Can everyone who is not talking go on mute? Let me just mute. Okay. Yeah. So when you go and start dictating or teaching them what is right and what is not, without understanding what is the correct, what is the team like, and without understanding people, same reaction you would get. Do not expect someone to welcome you just because you are a Scrum Master and you are a learned person, and you know Scrum, Agile, and whatnot. Don't expect anyone to just welcome you with open arms and accept you and your rules as is. No one would do that. Just put yourself in that team's shoes, or just relate to this example of playing in a group. You will understand what they are trying to do and why they are doing it, because many a times whenever people reach out to us with such problem, we are not able to open up team, and we are not able to get what team wants, and we are not able to contribute. They are not opening up, they are not talking to us. This is the problem, because the moment you go and start bringing in all the change is when the goof up happens. So first and foremost thing is just relax and do not try to change anything. So then what do we do in that case? Let's see. I'm sharing again my screen. Okay. Then what do we do? Try to understand your team and team dynamics. So how do we understand team and team dynamics? Only by gelling with each other. So again, relating to that example, now you want to play with them. Obviously, you will have to listen to what they are doing, or you would want to know what and how they are playing currently, and only then will you understand whether they are doing it, whether they are playing it right or not, right? So similarly, whenever you join a project and you want to change something, don't do it immediately. First, try to understand what is your team like, and what are your team dynamics. So how do we understand your team and team dynamics? So one way of understanding is initiate one-to-one connect or conversation with the team members. So, and whatever I'm saying, whatever points that I am putting out over here is for initial 1 or 2 weeks, meaning at least for a sprint. You're not supposed to think of changing anything at least for a sprint. So how do you do that? So when you join new project, right? So obviously you would be facing or maybe you would be getting all your accesses done to tools or maybe the softwares or whatever. While those things all are getting done, what you can do is initiate that one-on-one connect with your team members. You know that this is your development team. So when you join your team, attend all the calls. Go as a silent member in the call and attend all the calls. Just see what team is talking about, and how team members are behaving, and how they are talking to each other. And so it becomes easy when you were in physical offices, going to offices physically. But in remote, yes, it becomes very difficult, because uh, in the beginning no one will open up. Only way to understand what team is thinking is through their body language. And now in remote, it's even more difficult to understand their body language also, because all you see is just the face portion of everyone, right? And most of them don't even come on videos. So that adds to the complexity. So what we have to do in that case is initiate one-on-one connect or conversation with the team members. Try to understand what how that person is. And Scrum Master job, if I have to tell you, is most of maintaining a relationships or managing the relationships, then going into technical aspects, processes, tools, this, that. So those are all, I would say, byproduct of maintaining this relationship with your team members. So whenever you want to establish a relationship, what do you do? Now you want to get into a relationship with someone. How do you know that person? Or even if you want to gel up with your team member, now you have joined a project, not as a scrum master, even as a team member, a team contributor, right? How would you do that friendship? Only by knowing that person, right? So what you have to do is you have to take an extra step to go and approach people and talk to them, not related to job or anything like that. Talk to them about anything on this earth and under the sky. You can talk anything. Just try to open them up and ask them questions. As in, just an example. Now in this context, if I were to do this, this is how I would approach. I can go ahead and have a one-on-one connect. Obviously you would be attending all the calls and all of that, but establish a one-on-one connect. Block some time with each team member just to understand how that person is. And you can ask the person, like, how long he or she has been working in this organization and project, and what he or she thinks about this project. If he or she has to explain something about the project, how would that person explain you? And while doing that, take notes. Why I'm saying take notes is because you cannot remember conversation or points that each one is going to tell you, because when you are joining new project or an organization, it is very difficult to remember names of people as well, right? So what you can do is you can just record that conversation. Record means not physically record. Record the points in your whatever, if you want to use sticky notes, or maintain a log, or a notebook or whatever, but record the conversation, mark key points, so that even the other person will understand that you are interested in the conversation. So if you have to go on one-on-one and have a discussion or understand that person, and if you are constantly on your mobile, the other person will easily understand that this person is not interested in your conversation. So these are the small things, body language, etiquettes, or whatever we may call, which will help you understand whether the person is interested in your conversation or not. And with remote, I would highly recommend go on a video conversation. And then as I mentioned, attend all the calls, attend as a silent observer. Just see what a team is doing and how team is talking to each person. The way they talk and the way they approach each person, with that you will understand what that person, who that person is. So it's like, just an example. This is what I have mostly seen. I am not kind of generalizing this, but I'm mostly seen. If a person is a manager or some senior person, the team members are like very alert and very conscious, and they will not ask much question or not many questions. They will be very much kind of restricted in the way they talk. And if he or she is maybe a team member or a peer, then they will open up, or at least they will uh, have some personal conversation. Or if for example, if he is a solution architect, then people will not oppose whatever he's saying. People will accept, oh, this guy is a senior guy and is a solution architect and he knows his job. So these are small observation that you will have to make note of, because not all the details will be given to you by your team members. You have to read between the lines. If you go and ask questions such as, okay, uh, for example, I'll ask, imagine Juhi is part of my project, and I'm going and asking Juhi, uh, Juhi, what do you think? What according to you is going wrong in your project? Imagine I'm like joined this project in first day. This is the first day or maybe a second day, and I have to ask Juhi, I mean, what are the challenges that you are facing? What are the things that you want to change in your project, or what are the things that are not going as per your will and wish? Will Juhi tell me on my day one or day two? No. Why? She will tell you, who are you to ask me? I mean, she may not tell me directly on my face, but then she would think in her head, why is she asking me so many questions? Who is she? And why is she bothered? So this is the perception that people have when you go and just jump your guns on changing everything. No, no, I know my job. You go with a blinder. So it is not as mechanical as it looks or it sounds. Scrum Master job is a very creative job, and you are dealing with people and different kind of people day in and day out. Whatever approach you might have, and even this is for seasoned Scrum Masters who are going with a approach one, and they have already played a role of a Scrum Master in their past project and now approaching a new project. And if they think that, no, I have played already a role of a Scrum Master, I know how to deal with the team. And if that Scrum Master tries to even apply same method with the new team, even that will go flat. Not necessary that it will work, because not every team is same, not every team member is same. So every time you have to change your approach based on your team dynamics. This is where the team dynamics come into picture. You cannot go with one monotonous approach. You will say, okay, first week of sprint, these are all my checkpoints and I will do all of this. It will go flat. You will fall flat. That will not work. That might work out of fear, but not out of their willingness. So there's a difference. And the moment you go to them and tell them you have to do this, you have to do that, they will not do it unless and until they feel like doing it. They should understand why they have to do it. They have to understand the benefits of doing it. Only then they will do it. So understanding team dynamics is very important. We cannot just go ahead and start moving things here and there. Next is, as I mentioned, prepare notes of all your observations. Make a note of whatever conversation that you're having with each team member. Block some time until and then unless you are done with your access things, this, that. Block some time and you understand what the person has to say. And when I say prepare notes, not literally just recording one-on-one dialogue or word. Obviously, whatever clues that you may get about that team member, definitely you make notes of that and keep a follow-up session on that. Just tell them, I did understand few points from you. I would like to connect back with you after some time. Tell that person, and maybe in the next week have a follow up connect, just to understand what that person feels. If this person feels the same way about some topic that you might have discussed, if the concern or whatever he or she shares is the same or not. So just have that follow-up meeting. Next is understand your stakeholders and clients. This is also very important. So you are not just dealing with your team members, you are also dealing with your stakeholders or clients as well. The way it is important to understand your team, similarly it is very important to understand your clients and stakeholders as well. Having said that, you will not get an opportunity to have one-on-one connect with them, but you will have to find some opportunity and have a discussion, or maybe observe the person. So whoever is from your team, right, try to get as many details as possible from that person about your clients and stakeholders, right? What kind of details? Just ask them. And this is the most neglected part, even from the projects and from Scrum Masters and also. So we don't know who our clients are, how and what they think and what they are doing, right? So it is very important. You will get introduction of every team member, but when it comes to client, hardly I have seen that people from the project side have a formal introduction saying this is so and so, this is your product owner, this is your stakeholder, this is your business guy, so on and so forth. No one does that. Hardly I've seen projects who do that, right? So this is also very important point wherein you get that introduction, and from your team members or from your leadership, try to understand what that client is and how is their mentality and whatnot. And trust me, whenever you even join as a Scrum Master, as a new member also in that project, you will definitely, I mean, even though in your team you may not be welcomed that cordially, but when you go to represent your team with client in front of the client, definitely you will get some clues or some pointers from your leadership saying that this guy is bit crooked, deal with him this way, or maybe I'm just giving you some hints that I have faced or some observations that I have seen. So these are the pointers that you will definitely get, and you should be getting those before you have your discussion with your clients. Then fifth point is learn about product and existing processes.
Ramya, one question.
Yes.
When we are talking to someone, what do you feel? Is
Mhm.
it a good idea to ask a direct question, like, hey, can you tell me how do you find this person?
Yeah, you can.
Is
But
it a good idea?
it is a good idea, but chances of you getting answer is very less.
While
I
we
mean,
are
chances
gelling
are
with
very less.
someone, if we say that, can you please come up with your opinion? I mean, can you, if you are comfortable, can you please share me experience with
Yeah.
XYZ
Definitely.
person?
Yes. You can. But that's what. So,
Does
but
it
chances,
gives wrong signals?
no. But the way you ask question is what it matters.
Of course, if we are asking very softly and very low tone and with lot of empathy, still
Yes.
does it, is there any chance that, I mean, because I feel that people might feel that we are trying to get judgmental and,
Hmm.
trying to form some opinion. So I
Right.
was wondering if that is a good idea to take the opinion from people, or we understanding the person with the growing experience.
Right. So ideal way of doing that. So it's to each its own, right? So ideal way, if I were to be in that position, I would not initial at least 1 week, I would not ask for opinions. I would just try to go with the flow to find out myself. But I have seen people who actually do that because not everyone is same, right? I have seen team members who are like over
Right.
over friendly types. They do ask me, अरे बता ना इसके बारे में, what do you think, how is our manager, how is this guy, how is that. People tend to do
Maybe
that.
that is little poking kind of nature,
uh, yeah,
and
yeah,
that depends on person to person, I feel.
person to person. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So the chances of you getting the right answer or getting answer that you would want are very less because you are just at an initial stage. But you can take a chance. I mean, not maybe first week, maybe in the second week, if you want to try that, you can do that.
Because I feel it may bounce back to you, and that
Yeah.
person might go to the other person and can start spreading the negativity about you, that hey, do you know she was asking about you?
Asking about you. Yeah.
Mm. So I
For
feel
that,
that is not the mm,
yeah. So for
that
that,
might create negativity, is what I feel.
yes. So for that level, for to reach at that level, you need some sort of cushion to fall back. Unless and until you have created that space for you, it's a bit risky thing to do. I'm not saying that it will not work or it will
Mm-hmm.
work 100%,
Correct,
but it's a risky thing.
correct. Is same is what I feel, because this is related somewhere to the emotional, dealings with the person. It might create a certain emotional might set certain emotional
Perception.
quotient as well.
Yeah, yeah. They will be judgmental and they will build up certain perception about you.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah. So fifth point is learn about product and existing processes. Obviously, how much ever we try to deny or whatever, all these things are said and done. But if you really want to start somewhere, you have to understand what the current processes are or what the product is, right? And now you may question me or contradict, saying that how does that knowing a product matters? That will definitely give you an edge. You're not saying that you have to become an expertise in that product knowledge or functional flow and all of that. And if you are in a project wherein they understand the actual role of a scrum master is, they ideally would not expect you to become the product expertise. But if you are in a organization where for them scrum master is equal to delivery manager or a project manager or any other role that they tag with scrum master, then they will expect you to have that product knowledge. And this is a very subjective thing, and this is a topic for another day altogether. I won't be getting into a zone where to comment what should be done and what shouldn't be done. But for now, what we can tell is try to learn about the product. At least you should know the workflow, what product that your team is building, or what services your team is providing to the client. At least you should know that, because that will definitely give you an edge. And also know about existing processes. And when I say existing processes, if you want to know whether they are doing it right or not, going back to the example of that group play, right? So if you're joining them and if you want to know whether they are playing the right game or not, you should know first of all what they are playing and how they are playing. Unless and until you know how they are playing, you cannot go and tell them, or you won't be in a position to tell them that whether it is right or not. For that purpose, try to understand, get a knowledge of what are their existing processes are. That is very important. Next point is gain trust of your team. And I cannot tell you how important this is. And this is exactly what Vishaka had asked. Unless and until you gain trust of your team members, they will not open up to you come what may. They may open up to you out of fear, but they will not open up to you to accept you as one of them. And this is a very important quality a scrum master should have. A scrum master or an agile coach, you should gain trust of your team member in order to have you one of them, or in order to open them up. And this is one thing that I always try to uh, work on myself. I mean, this is one approach that I always try to take up whenever I approach a new project, team, organization, or whatever. And there are, I mean, how you gain trust, there are multiple ways of doing that. And if you want, we can do a different session on the internalizing the agile coaching or role of a scrum master. But one interesting point that I would like to put over here is, you can, one way of gaining trust of your team member is through radical candor. There is some concept called as a radical candor. For this session, I'm just going to touch base on that radical candor. But having said that, we are not going to get into the entire details of radical candor, but I'll just try to touch base on the radical candor. So what is radical candor? What do you mean by the words radical and candor? So let's see what is radical. Radical means especially of change or action relating to or affecting the fundamental nature of something, far reaching or thorough. And candor means honesty in expression. That means if you want to change something or bring in some change in the fundamental nature of something or someone, you have to deal with that person with honesty in your expression. This is what radical candor means. And this really helps you in this sense. This is one of the leadership technique, I must say, which will help you gain the trust of your team members. And how do we do that, right? The radical candor means it is caring personally and challenging directly, not brutal honesty. The whole point of radical candor is that it really is possible to care personally and challenge directly at the same time. That means you are caring for someone in your team member genuinely, not just for the sake of doing that. You're caring for someone very genuinely. At the same time, when you have to talk to them or when you have to talk facts, you're challenging them directly, not rudely, but challenging with honesty. That is what radical candor means. This is a very interesting way of having a leadership quality. And if you go here and there, if there is a thin line between going or acting very obnoxiously and acting in a acting with a radical candor way. So if you see this diagram, I'm not going to explain the entire diagram because it is a very big concept in itself. There is a book as well to explain this concept. But what I'm trying to understand is, trying to put forward is, you can talk to your team members with care, but at the same time, you can challenge them. So and when we say care about someone, that doesn't mean talking to them in a sugar coating words, is what I mean. If something is going wrong, or you can give your opinion and you're open to receive feedback as well. That is what challenging directly means. And caring personally means obviously caring. And when I say caring personally, that doesn't mean that you have to get all the personal details of that person and you giving out all personal detail of yourself in order to care about that person. But you are deciding or drawing that line, how much details to share and how much details not to share. For an example, what caring personally or what radical candor approach would be. Now you know that some person in your team member is falling, is sick, or maybe is not keeping well, or maybe is down with COVID, or maybe is down with any other disease, right? You know that the person is not keeping well, and this is the reason of that person's illness. But that person is not comfortable with you sharing the details, right? So you may, when the person is off sick and is not working, he is taken leave, and when the person resumes back, you ask that person how he or she is feeling, but you will not tell them, oh, this person is sick because he is suffering from so and so, because that person doesn't want you to tell it to the world. Otherwise he or she would have told it. Even that means you care for that person. So, and if someone is having some trouble, or maybe you know that someone is not joining call because he or she has got some issues, just ask them, are you all right? Are you okay now? Is everything fine from your end? These are the small things which will help you establish or build a relationship, and that is what this radical candor means. And at the same time, if something goes wrong, you can directly challenge that person on his or her face, saying that, okay boss, this is what is not right, and you are open for feedback, suggestions, and all of that. So that is what radical candor means. So this is one of the beautiful way of developing a leadership skills. There is a book with this name, so you can, if anyone is interested, you can go and read about it. It is there are a lot of articles as well, so you can definitely read about all of this, and you will understand how we can develop this. And this is not something, not everyone has this quality of talking out of the way, or maybe talking to them personally or whatever, but there are most of them who follow this, and I have that quality of talking to people on a personal way, meaning caring for them and all of that. So this works for me for sure. Next is, after we have dealt with all these things, after you have settled in, understood what team is doing, understood the team dynamics, is only when you start giving your inputs and talking to a team in terms of changing something if something is not already right. So this would be true if you're joining a new project or a new account or a new team. And there is another dimension to it. When you're joining, when the project is not new, but you are new to the project, even then all these points would be still valid. So these should be some of your approaches when you join a new project, account, or a team. Now, quickly, I would like to touch base on when you join a new organization altogether. Right, all the points still remain same, but there are few additions. So first of all, first point remains the same. I'm not going to iterate again. Second is, understand organization culture and policies. This is very important, and this is the mistake most of us do. Even I did. What we do is, now you know that you have joined the organization, you are assigned to a project. Now you are just involved, and you are completely sucked in into the project dynamics and all of that. But it is equally important to attend the inductions, understand the organization, what is the culture, what is the agile culture, what is their mindset. Because if you want to understand your project dynamics, it is very important to understand your organization dynamics also, because you will understand how the culture is being percolated downwards, how they treat their employees, how this culture is being built. So all of these are very important. So while you understand your team, it is also equally important to understand the organization as well. Rest all remains the same. Last point would be, parallelly contribute to agile community or COE and create your personal brand. This is very important. Meaning, though you are working as a Scrum Master, and though you are working as a team agile leader and trying to bring in change and all of that, it is equally important for you to give back to the community. It is equally important for you to contribute to your organization. So find out if there is an agile community or a COE. Find out if there is a group wherein all the Scrum Master, Agile coaches, Agile leaders huddle. If there is a group, try to join there and create your personal brand. When I say create your personal brand, which means not what you as a person are and what. So there is a label that is attached to each person professionally. When I say label, it is not a designation or a role, but they build some perception. Okay, this person, when I think about this person, he is capable of doing this. If I have to, uh, maybe if I come across a good Scrum Master or a good Agile coach, I know that that person is wonderful in his job and he or she has created a niche for himself. So creating a niche for himself is nothing but a way of creating your personal brand. So it is very important. And this point, it's not only what I am suggesting, it is also mentioned in the Scrum guide as a roles and one of the roles and responsibilities of a Scrum Master, wherein you give back to the organization, wherein you contribute to the organization. So how much ever you work in your project, it is equally important for you to contribute to Agile community or COE and create your personal brand. So these are all few things that you can do when you join your organization or as a Scrum Master. Now we can take up any questions that we may have from anyone. Anything that.
Yeah, Ramya, Wish here.
Yes, Rishi.
Yeah, so you mentioned about internalizing the agile. What exactly you mean by that? What's the context?
So when I say internalizing Agile coaching means how do you bring in transformation in your project, not just by concentrating on the tools, processes, and practices, etc. How do you get the right Agile mindset? How do you change the what to say cultural change or mindset change? Because unless and until you change the mindset, people will not just realize the importance of bringing in Agile or all of that. You will get a lot of resistance. And if you just concentrate on bringing in, thinking that if I do a processes check or maybe tool check, and you say that you are working, you are brought in that Agile change, that is not going to work for sure. So that is what I say. I mean, soft skills or humanizing the Agile coaching process.
Okay, okay. So it's like it's about being agile, not just doing agile.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, sure. Yeah, thanks, Ramya. That answers my question.
Ramya, hi, this is Sonal. Thanks for the insightful session. Quite a good session, I would say. I'll just give you a background. I'm a new Scrum Master, and I was in this project wherein I was pulled to be a Scrum Master. I'm otherwise a functional business analyst, and one question I always had is, like you said earlier, Scrum promotes that we have one-on-one with the team members. Now, what if I'm a new Scrum Master and then I have the one-on-ones? Many a times, they might just have a question. Why is she like when many a times the team actually does not know what is Scrum, and many aspects of Scrum they just are not introduced to. Beat even for that matter the managers. Leaving aside them, but the team, how do we if we're having one-on-ones and I being a new one to the team, wouldn't they have a question like why is she having these one-on-ones? What is her um, intent of having? How do we introduce that to them? I always had this question. Might be a very basic one, but I always have had this one. Like I was quite hesitant about it. So if you
Sure.
can just help us with.
Yes. So when I say that we should have one-on-one, so obviously, I mean, first of all, Scrum doesn't promote that. So this is the trick and trade that we have to figure it out. And if you even search for some of the ways to approach your project as a Scrum Master, even you listen to any great personality, even that person would tell you the same, that have one-on-one with team members. And when I say that you have to have one-on-one with team member, I do not mean that you have to talk to them about Scrum. It means that you are just trying to build a relationship. So if you want to understand the other person, right? So how would you otherwise go and approach that person? How would you do? How would you open up that person, right? You have to know something about that person, because we are not working in silos. So if you want to understand what the other person is thinking, or how the mentality of the other person is, you have to have, I mean, that is your way of maybe communicating or approaching the team. So
One thing
definitely,
I would like to add, Ramya, here,
yeah,
that
yes.
while we are working in corporate world, we forget at times one thing, that we all are humans, right? We all need love, we all need empathy, we all need connect. And while doing that, and once we go to certain level, we forget that we can, be at that point wherein we used to work a few days back, and we were expecting certain things from our managers, that at least that person can ask for a coffee, or that if I mean, in fact, we were also hesitant to ask for a coffee to our managers. So if we break that line between us, between our team members and us, be very comfortable while talking to them like we are talking to our family members, and stop hesitating in front of them, I think it will solve most of our problems in future.
Exactly. Exactly. And even now, it's like when I've asked that is anyone having any question, right? You openly ask this question because you felt comfortable, right? And you felt that you are with safe people. You are having that safety net, because you felt that is why you opened up. Now imagine someone, some leadership is giving you a session, or maybe a town hall for that matter. How many of us openly raise our hand and raise ask question? Very few. Very few of us ask question in town halls, because you feel very insecure, and you feel fear of so many people, so many leadership guys participating. So that is the difference. So now it is up to you how you want to create that environment with your team members, whether you want to create an environment of a town hall, or whether you want to create a safe environment. I think Vivek would want to add something.
Yes, Ramya. So I just wanted to answer Sonal's question over here. So Sonal, when we start as a Scrum Master into some new team or to some project, the one thing that we need to keep in mind is like, are we trying to impose onto something to the team? If are we pushing it too hard, or are we trying too hard to just get that acceptance from that? So the whole purpose is not to impose anything, or trying to be kind of more nagging or pushing the team towards certain things. And the other thing that we need to ensure is like to carry that kind of baggage, where we come saying that, okay, we are someone called as a Scrum Master, we are someone called as a change agents over here, and we are trying to fix something which is not ideally it's in not a right direction. That is one thing. And once people start realizing it, there is a person around here who is trying to fix something, or who is trying to change something. People will always be not ready to be that inviting for that person, because since they realize, or they relate to, okay, here is a person who is there to change something, which we feel that that is absolutely fine with our team, or absolutely fine as of now. So the whole purpose is like not to be too much imposing onto them. And the second thing is like what Ramya was mentioning, that trying to have the small connects. It's like basically try to establish that kind of meet and greet sessions with with the team members, though I mean, it would help you overall, help an individual to just have a more a connection or a kind of a healthy relation between that individual when we start doing it, because it gives both of us, I mean, as Scrum Master and as also a person, it establishes that kind of a trust between that individual. So that really helps overall, to go ahead and have that meet and greet kind of a session.
Sure. Thanks, Vivek. Thanks, Ramya. And thanks, Vishaka. Yeah. Points
Ramya,
noted.
I would like to add something here
Yes, yes,
if there's
Rohit.
time for that, or
Yeah. Please, please. I know this
okay.
would get extended for sure because this is very subjective thing. So yes, we have.
Yeah. So, so the team, I'm Rohita. I'm a new Scrum Master. I had played the role of a shadowing Scrum Master, but this is the first time I'm full fledgedly being a Scrum Master at a startup company where nothing is set up. They're just working on a mail to mail basis kind of environment. So, what I personally used and what worked for me is that I remember Ramya mentioning it long back in one of our sessions, like being vulnerable. I went into a role where I said, like, I don't know the ABCD of it. I don't know what's happening. I don't know anything about anyone or any project or any work. So I talk with each team member, asking them like, can you please help me make myself comfortable. I was not telling like I'm trying to make something or I'm trying to do something. It was always like I need help, I need to know. It was all me on the receiving end. So it was like they had an upper hand. Okay, she doesn't know something, I want to tell her, or she has asked me for help, let me guide her. So when somebody is given the position of authority to help you, they always feel like the kind of a teacher student bond develops wherein you are no longer a competition or no longer a person there to impose something on them. So that way I slowly understood like, okay, this person is this playing this role and taking this responsibility. And gradually I every day talk with people, so initially it's all about talking, understanding, rather than just trying to implement our knowledge, experience, or the rules, or hold the Scrum guide and say, hey, Scrum is telling this, let's do this. That is not at all going to work for anyone, be it a child, be it an adult. Even though you know why they have hired me or what my role is going to be, it's brutal honesty is not something that is necessary or that's going to help your work with. The other thing is, when you say break the barriers, break the walls, I think when you start breaking the barriers, the other person on the other side who's busy doing their work will get hurt with the bricks that get fallen off. Instead, stand next to the wall, start picking up each brick and put it in your side, start piling it up in your side. So
Exactly.
with time, you'll see that the whole wall would have vanished and you both are standing on the same side. I think that is how it will work. Thank you.
Absolutely, Shweta. Absolutely. I cannot agree more. I think I think instead of jumping into what we would do next as a session of covering on the processes, tools, and all of that, I think it is very just looking at the kind of a questions that we are getting and the discussion that we are having. I think I should get that internalizing agile coaching thing as a next session is what I see from the energy that we are having. And this I had done for Agile Network India, and that was really appreciated. And many people have reached after that. So if you guys think that how do we humanize the Agile coaching or internalize agile coaching would help you, we can have that I mean in the as the next session. I would like to hear from you as well.
So Ramya, yes, I think it would really help actually, um,
Yes,
as
Ramya, we
to
can
how.
do that. Yeah.
internalize and apply or implement agile actually, or how to be agile. Yeah.
Sure, then
Even
Yes,
I agree, that
certainly.
will be
Let's have
helpful.
that session. Yeah, same here.
sure, then we can have that session as a next one. Maybe you will get to know how do we, what all things we need to cover. The exactly similar thing that I and Rohita we were just talking
Yeah,
about,
for
right?
sure.
How
Concept,
to become
a
that
lot of care,
vulnerable.
love,
Yeah. So how to become vulnerable, what things to do so that we get that buy-in from team members or get that warm welcome, how to break that bricks or wall is what I try to put up in a session wherein it talks about how do we internalize or humanize the agile coaching. So if that really helps, then maybe next session we can have that. That will, irrespective of Scrum Master or an Agile coach or any other Agile leader, that I think would help people. So definitely we can have that as a next session. And for today's session, anything else, any other question or any point that we want to discuss?
yeah. One quick thing, Ramya, wish here. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, since I heard a lot of words like love, care, express today. So just wondering. I mean, should I be planning something explicitly on 14th Feb?
That was a good one.
But go with,
To
go
stay
shield
comfortable.
yourself and then go out with whatever approach.
It was on a
I
lighter
just
note. I was
wanted
just
to
kidding.
add one thing. I just wanted to
Yes,
add one
yeah.
thing.
Good to see you,
Ramya
Satya.
and Vivek are, yeah, Ramya and Vivek are already crossed that 14th. That
So on the
yeah.
same line, I wanted to add, Vishwanath, I guess you're too courageous over here.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks,
Well,
Vivek.
if we do such
Exactly.
things, we
Right.
will move from
Yeah,
Scrum
I just
Master to
wanted.
HR department.
That's fine. Even Scrum Masters have right to laugh and smile. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. We are already part HR. We are already doing that at some level.
We all are playing with psychology, guys. We
Yes,
should
yes,
take it easy.
yes.
We should take
So
it
I
easy.
guess whoever, I mean, I'm not promoting anyone over here, but whoever has attended ICP, ACC training, certification training by Vineet Patni would understand and would agree to what all of us are saying. And what Vishaka is mentioning is exactly about that.
Ramya, you are sounding like Akashvani. Echo everywhere.
Because Vivek is playing.
Just that music is missing. Akashvani
Am
music
I
is missing.
audible now clearly?
Yes,
Yes.
since you were audible there then as well. I was just kidding.
Okay. I think that is because even Vivek was unmuted. So that is the reason why
Yes.
you hear a echo.
So could you just say it once again, Ramya?
Yeah.
We don't want to miss what you just said. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying is whatever Vishaka was trying to mention about the psychological thing, right? And whatever all of us were trying to say about humanizing the agile coaching or whatever experiences about vulnerability that Rohita has shared and Vivek has also shared, right? So that psychological way of dealing things, anyone who has attended the ICP ACC, that is Agile Coaching certification session by Vineet Patni would agree this, whatever approach that we are trying to talk about. Having said that, I'm not promoting anyone over here, but we all have attended, not Rohita, but Vishaka, myself, and Vivek, we all have attended, and that is the reason why we all are speaking the same language.
Oh, I
Ramya,
get
I'm
it.
a psychological counselor, so I just implement everything of my psychological counseling experience into Scrum Master.
And that will really take you places, Rohita. Seriously. And I mean, yesterday itself, I have learned a lot from, someone who is kind of legendary and who is a author and all of that. I can share that experience later on. But what I trying to say is the things that I've learned are very basic. I mean, the person was trying, the author was trying to tell me, do not talk about any agile framework. You just understand the basic of the environment, like what is complex environment, what is the complicated environment, and all of that. So it is very basic things, very humanized things that we have to apply in our agile. So it is, as we talk, it is all about dealing with people, managing relationships, because 90% of all your problems that you face in your project would be as a scrum master and agile coach, would be related to dealing with people, and not processes, tools, this, that. Those are byproducts, as I mentioned. Those are all byproducts. But 90% of problems that you face is related to dealing with people. The earlier you understand that, the better it is for you to play the role of a Scrum Master.
So, Ramya, totally agreed. In fact, I feel that there's a lot of spirituality into Agile. Like, I'm spiritually inclined, and I always draw parallels between Agile and spirituality. And as for Vineet Patni, I knew him back since a few years, but I did not like pursue Agile back then. Um, I just wanted to ask you, Ramya, at what point in time should one take the Agile certification, the Agile coach, I'm sorry, the Agile coach certification? Because I just got CSM certified. And then I also got to know about the CSM and the PS versus the
Yes.
PSM feedback and all of that. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think, Vivek, would you like to take that question, or would you want me to just take that? I know because
Yeah,
you are the
Ramya.
one who told her about
Mm,
PSM and CSM, right? So you can take that
no,
question.
no, Ramya, it's okay. Please go ahead. Yeah, I mean that's fine.
So uh, what I feel is you gain some practical experiences as a Scrum Master. You, as you mentioned that you are working as a Scrum Master. I mean, you have just recently joined as a Scrum Master. You try to understand the team dynamics and try to understand the Scrum world properly. And because Scrum is one of the frameworks, and when we talk about agile coaching, it is framework agnostic or framework neutral. So I would suggest you to learn, or maybe uh, gain some experience, soak in all the experience as a Scrum Master. At least I would feel, I think for a year or two, and then you can think of doing an Agile coach certification. Otherwise, you will be mixing too many things, because what agile coaching, as you rightly mentioned, it is according to me, and I and Vishaka, we both have spoken about it as well. So it is more of a psychological and a spiritual way of dealing. And if you bypass this Scrum Master phase and directly jump into that, it would be difficult for you to be agnostic about the framework and then work as an agile coach, because there are many concepts in agile coaching which as a scrum master will not agree, or your job will not allow you to do that. Yes, Vishaka.
Yeah, so Ramya, I would like to add here why it is difficult to immediately go for agile coach and why it won't be comfortable with you. The main reason is when we say agile and start getting into market for jobs and seek for job, that time we need to understand that mostly software industry is using agile. And while using agile, the most used framework is Scrum. And if you are not very much comfortable with the very commonly used framework, you are not well versed with the loopholes and to do and what not to do, then it would be difficult for you once you get as a certification as a coach. You won't be able to understand the real problems in the real world when you are going to coach someone. So I think that is the main reason what Ramya is trying to explain all of us, that we should gain experience at least for 2 years and then approach for um ourselves for going ahead for a coach certification. Yeah,
Right. And
thank you.
also, as a coach, you have to disconnect with uh, many things. If you have to coach someone, you have to disconnect from many of materialistic things, is what I would say. uh, Only then you would be able to coach your team. Because, and even if you go for a coach's interview, right, agile coach interview, you are, the way or the questions that are asked for a scrum master and for an agile coach are like 360-degree different. Those are not same questions. You might feel the question is very basic for a agile coach, but it has got lot of depth to it. And that depth you will understand only after you gain certain experience as a scrum master. I think Vivek would want to add. Yes, Vivek.
Yes. So just to extend this conversation, Sonal, first thing is like Scrum Master is still a team level coach. I mean, at the first level, with whoever is working as a Scrum Master, it's like they are still coaching the team. It's though it's on the team level, but then this certification that Vishaka and Ramya were talking about for the Agile coach, that adds different dimension to those coaching. I mean, those certification gives you more details or more insights of how to go ahead with your coaching aspect. But yeah, I mean, if you talk about a coach, if you're working as a scrum master, you're still at a team level, you are still coaching the team. So that puts a check or a check on your checklist, saying that okay, I'm still coaching the team. So irrespective of what you are doing as as a scrum master or not, I would just say that we are still coaching the team at the team level. I mean, this is what I just wanted to add. I mean, what Ramya and Vishaka did mention, that also, but yeah, this is also one of the things that we need not ignore, or we tend to just forget that okay, Scrum Master is something else and Agile coach is something else, but it is not that. Scrum Master is still a team level coach altogether.
Agreed, Vivek. Agreed. And Ramya and Vishaka, thanks for the inputs. Yeah, I agree to that too. Ram.
All right. Anything else?
One last thing. Right.
Yes.
So I believe Rohita is the psychology counselor, is it?
Yeah, that's what she
Who?
mentioned.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, it's great to have a psychology counselor in the forum, right? And since our roles is more about, to do with coaching and leading without authority, etc., I believe it would be a bonus if we could have a session on the psychology 101, the mind games, and the
Ye-
applied psychology, where we would succeed as Scrum Master and Agile coaches.
Yes, I see she has dropped the conversation, but definitely I'll pass on that message. So I know Rohita since many years now. I mean, we were in the same organization and we are in same group. So I know her since a long time now. She's just a message away, and I mean, I can just tell her to give or impart some knowledge or share some details about that.
That sounds awesome. Thanks, Ramya.
All right. Anything else? to be discussed? If nothing else, then I think we can close for today. Thank you everyone for joining the call.
Thank you, Ramya. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Vivek.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ramya. Thanks, Vivek. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.